Alright, well, I said I wasn't going to update this game really anymore, but for some reason in the last couple of weeks I got a bit motivated, and I did. And during that process, I updated Lunar Flight to use the very latest Unity. It's a 2019.1.3, I think it is. That comes with it a lot of engine improvements, which improved VR in general. And I also added touch support. Well, I added tracked controller support. Currently, it really is only optimal for the Oculus touch controllers, namely because of the way they're oriented and the way the grip buttons work. I haven't done any Steam VR testing at all for this, so I can't make any promises about this build. Initially, I'm going to make this build available. I will make it available on Steam, and I'll probably put it up as a different beta from the existing one that's on there, and then we'll see how things roll up. I don't have my Vive pre-set up. I haven't had it set up for probably 3 years. So yeah, maybe as things move forward, I can have a look at supporting the Vive controllers. So anyway, let's talk about the controllers themselves and the hands themselves, and why this is super cool. Because rather than going with the standard touch near sensor field posing system, I decided to make them contextually posed. So if I put my hand near the throttle, it automatically works out that it's near the throttle. Likewise, if I move my hand near any of the displays, or basically away from my body, they'll become pointers, and I can point at UI elements and I can interact with them. So I'll just quickly demonstrate this working. So I'll begin. I can just show you in the settings. Video. If you have a 1080 and you're playing this game, you can probably run with these settings. Basically everything gone high. For now, I am going to redo the weather on Mars at some point, but you might want to leave that on clear. But you could run the render scale at 1.3, and with these settings, it's really quite clear on even the CB1, and I really can't wait to see it running on the Rift S with its new display. So you can use the right hand's top button, I think it's Y, back out of menus to make that a little bit more convenient. But you know, a lot of this stuff is so easy to use now. I can just grab, you know, the master volume here and just point it back and forth with my hand. It's so elegant and simple to provide input. So let's go and begin a game. So I'm going to just create an offline profile. I'll go SHOVOR for shovel, create and load, and we'll just start on the creator map. And here we are in the cockpit. So yeah, as you'd imagine, this is all contextual. I can basically turn the power on like that. Power's on. I can grab the stick. Currently the joystick isn't controlled by moving the hand. It's using the right analog stick to drive that one. And I'm going to work on that in the time coming. It's a little tricky to write the code for that, but I will get it done. And same for the thruster here. I can move it. The interesting thing with this is getting it so that you can make small thrust increments without moving it too far and not being able to set a precise value. I'm just going to turn the music down because it's quite loud. Audio and music, we'll bring that down to there. Okay, that's cool. Just while I'm here, I can show you some other things that make this whole setup much easier. I can just grab these things now, and for all the achievements I can just scroll them. I can use both hands. Boom, boom, boom. And so yeah, I can refuel. You don't have to. The reason I added these little laser pointers on the ends of them, because it's just a little bit more ergonomic to not have to reach so far. These buttons in particular are much easier to reach for now. I can hide the overhead display much easier and change what's displayed on them a lot easier. So I'll go to mission, and we'll take this 4,000 cargo to Delta. If Alright, so remembering to check my lift-off power to weight ratio. It's a new account, so I'm only level 1, and I'm carrying how much cargo? 4,000, so I will need 45.5 thrust to get off the ground. There we go. Now you must be holding the grip triggers to provide any input. So on my left hand I've got the translation thrust, so I'm thrusting forward now by pushing forward, pushing up on the left analog stick, and I can use the translation now to steer my velocity vector. I let go of the controls, I can stand up here and look around in the cockpit. One thing you'll notice, I've removed the astronaut spacesuit. It was a bit bulky. I did play around with creating IK with it, but it just couldn't get the fidelity that I wanted it out of it. It was proving very tricky, so I felt this was a good compromise. It gives you much better range for your hands to move around. We'll go back to mission. How far away are we? We're climbing because my V rate is going up. We'll just bring that down a little bit. If you grab the left trigger while you've got the throttle selected, you can actually invert the thrust, push it down. So do this. Good thing too with it too is you don't need to be looking at the throttle to actually make changes to it. So I can set it about there, get my thrust going. Get my V rate up, get my velocity up. Hopefully I won't embarrass myself on this mission. So yeah, my plan is to actually bring this build to the Oculus Store finally. It's never actually been on the Oculus Store, funnily enough, given Lunar Flight's history, and it is something that I'd like to do. I don't have any plans in the short term to bring the multiplayer components online. That is probably a significant amount of work that I do want to consider doing, but given the changes to Unity, and I might just knock the, where are we, settings, knock the radio back down a bit. Those guys are very loud. Yeah, given the changes to the Unity engine, I'm not confident that it's going to compile with all the multiplayer stuff in there. It's very, very old code. It's nearly 6 years old now, and a lot of things have changed in the Unity engine, so I'm a bit concerned that that won't be a practical thing to take on. Not given my daily commitments that I have at the moment. I am still working on this in my evenings, and it's quite challenging to find time to put into the game. But I do love Lunar Flight. It holds a special place in my heart, and while people are still playing it, I guess I'll keep putting a bit of attention to it. Alright, coming in. Let's start backing off of my velocity. Make sure I don't go too high on my main thrust. Oh, coming in hot. It is very, very difficult. Well, I wouldn't say much more difficult than before, but it is very different to how I would normally play with the Xbox controller. I am going to look at providing options so you can still use all of the existing input systems. In fact, I have fixed a few bugs in there, so if you wanted to use your own HOTAS, I will make that work at some point. And we're down. Alright, let's check the cargo. We can refuel and unload. Alright, got my achievement. The mission debriefing. I'll get a few achievements here. Yep, special delivery. Close that one. Successful land at refuel at a base other than Alpha. I've forgotten how many achievements I put in this game, but anyway, so that's the build, and keep a lookout for it coming very soon. Thanks for watching.